Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Arunima Sareen. In today's video, I'll talk to you about 3 of the most common postgraduate degrees in psychology. We'll briefly talk about the main characteristics of each degree, talk about some of its pros and cons, and what type of candidate is ideal for each of them. Let's get into it. First up, we have a master's in psychology. It's the most common type of postgraduate degree for people interested in psychology. And the aim of this program in general is to provide the students with advanced knowledge and deeper knowledge in some subfield or discipline of psychology. Master's degrees broadly come in 2 flavors. So you could have an MA, a Master's in Art, which is more theoretically oriented, or you can have an MSc, a Master's in Science, which has a little bit more focus on research and application. Regardless of the type of master's degree you do, all programs combine rigorous academic training with some kind of hands-on experience in the form of writing a theoretical paper or conducting independent research or potentially carrying out an applied project. Duration-wise, most master's programs last anywhere between 1 to 3 years, depending on where in the world you do them from. There's lots of pros to a master's program. They are very common, so people understand. If you tell someone you have a master's in some subfield of psychology, they have a very good idea of what that entails, what that means, what kinds of skills you should broadly have. A second is that it allows you to get advanced skills and deeper knowledge very quickly in a relatively shorter time frame. A third is that because master's programs are actually really common, they've also become very popular in the last couple years, and for that reason there is a master's now in every possible imaginable subfield of interest within psychology. So it's actually really easy to find a master's that caters to your specific niche interests in the field. A fourth benefit is that doing a master's degree can sometimes help open doors to various types of professional roles in healthcare, in counseling. A related pro is that if you're looking to branch outside of core academic type jobs, so you want academia adjacent jobs or jobs in industry, then a master's degree can be just the right bridge you need to take your undergraduate degree, get some specialized training, and then make yourself a really competitive candidate for those kinds of jobs. Another big pro of a master's degree is it can work as a really valuable and competitive stepping stone for people considering a PhD in psychology. That is kind of what I did. I did my undergrad in India in psychology, and I wanted to do a PhD in psychology, but I realized I didn't have that much research experience. And so if I applied for a PhD straight away, I wouldn't be a very competitive candidate. So I did a 1-year master's in research methods in psychology from University College London. And I think that the training I received in that period, both academic and research training, is what made me a competitive candidate and allowed me to get into the PhD program that I eventually did at Harvard. Now, one con of doing a master's program is that it might not necessarily qualify you for some research or academic positions that require you to have a PhD. For instance, most academic jobs like lectureships or professorships require the candidate to have a PhD. A second con is that depending on the role you have selected and the profession you're in, your earning potential post a master's might be lower than your earning potential post getting a PhD degree. Third con is that master's programs in general can be expensive and they aren't funded by the program. So you either have to fund them out of pocket or you need to find scholarships or grants to help you pay for the program. So who's an ideal candidate? Lots of answers. First, if you are looking to get some specific skills in a particular subfield and the job that you want to get requires you to have those skills and you could sufficiently get them from a master's degree, then it's a great degree for you. Another category of people for whom this is really well suited is those who want to get more information, so dive deeper into a topic, get new skills, but don't want to commit to the intensity and the duration of a PhD. Relatedly, if you are unsure about a PhD, you find yourself drawn to wanting to know more, wanting to engage in science or some applied aspect of psychology, but are in two minds about committing to a PhD program, then master's is just the sweet spot. You get a little trailer of what PhD life is going to look like without committing 5 odd years of your life to the process. Finally, if you want to branch into a particular subfield, then master's is great. So there's 2 times that I've seen this happen, either because you have a general undergraduate degree in psychology and you want to get specialization to then get a particular type of job, or you don't have a background in psychology but you want to kind of branch into it. In both of those cases, a master's would be great. Let's next talk about PhDs. So a PhD is a doctor in philosophy, and a PhD degree in psychology is the highest level of qualification, the highest degree that you could get in the subject. Now, PhD degrees are very intense. They involve the candidate having to take a lot of classes, sit for examinations, give lots of presentations, but notably, they're also very research oriented. So you are required to engage in significant amount of research, come up with some original research, contribute to the field, and write and defend your thesis. Programs take anywhere between 5 to 7 years, depending on whether your PhD is in clinical or not. A pro of a PhD degree is that you walk away with a lot of specialized skills that are actually very broadly generalizable and marketable. You learn how to read lots of different types of information very quickly, assimilate information across different areas, across different topics. You learn how to deal with data, how to think quantitatively. You get trained to write well, to present your ideas in clear, consistent ways. So there's lots of really good skills that you walk away with. Another pro is that it makes you a really competitive candidate for lots of jobs. If you want a job in academia, you kind of need to have a PhD. But even if you don't want to be an academic, having a PhD still makes you seem as a very competitive candidate, and it can be a great step up for non-academic jobs that are still broadly research focused, like in corporations, in data science, in the government sector, in think tanks. So it's a really competitive degree. Another pro is that most PhD programs, especially in the US, in top programs are fully funded, which means you get to spend 5 to 6 odd years diving deeper into a topic that you find interesting and getting trained and learning new skills, and you get paid while you do it. You don't have to pay out of pocket. An obvious con is the time commitment it takes. Like I said, PhDs take anywhere between 5 to 7 years, so it's a significant period of time in your life. Second con is that they can be incredibly demanding. They can be demanding in terms of the work you have to do, so academically and intellectually, but they're also demanding personally and emotionally. Unlike most non-academic jobs where, you could go to work 9 to 5 and when you leave your office, you could stop thinking about your task for the day. When people are engaged in doing a PhD, they're working on research they find intrinsically curious about and they really care about. And so often that separation between work and personal life is very blurry. You often end up working long hours, you often end up working on the weekends, and that can be really taxing emotionally and can lead to a bad work-life balance. A third con of a PhD is the opportunity cost. So if you are unsure of wanting to do a PhD, then it can seem like a bad decision because over those 5 years you could have been doing something else where you could get more hands-on training and potentially climb up the ladder in the field of your choice and maybe earn higher. So it is an opportunity cost if you are not committed to the research that you are going to be engaging in. A PhD is ideal for anyone who is passionate about research. It is an intense, time-consuming, all-consuming degree, And so do it only if you feel really strongly about research, if you're passionate about whatever subfield you're interested in, or even a topic within that subfield. But given the choice of anything else, doing any other kind of thing in the world, or sitting down and thinking more deeply about that topic, finding ways to enhance our understanding of that topic. If you fall in that bucket, then do the PhD. Another kind of criteria for an ideal candidate is if you find yourself drawn to academic jobs, so you want to be a university professor, or you want to do advanced research in some kind of think tank or advanced clinical practice, then this is again a great degree for you. The final degree I want to talk about is a professional degree in psychology, Doctor of Psychology, which is also called PsyD. These degrees focus more on practical applied aspects of clinical psychology, like diagnosis, treatment plans, providing therapy. The program generally includes a mix of coursework and clinical training. You also do have a dissertation or a capstone project, but overall the emphasis really is on applying psychology to the real world within the clinical setting. A program of this type is an ideal choice for a person who wants to become a licensed psychologist and wants to engage directly with patients and provide them care and be engaged in their well-being. In terms of time frame, this degree also takes anywhere between 4 to 6 years. So several pros to doing a professional degree of this kind. The first is that it has a strong clinical focus. You work directly with patients and clients, and so if that's something that you find exciting, then this is a degree that really enhances that experience, enhances that training. Relatedly, a pro is that a lot of your coursework is hands-on experience working with clients. A third pro is its duration. So PsyD programs are longer than your typical master's program, but they are relatively shorter than a PhD. Final pro is that the degree provides you with skills that make you highly employable. So around the world, there has been an increase in the demand for skilled clinicians, and a degree of this kind gives you those skills that make you very valuable and highly employable. One con is that there is very limited research opportunities. If you are interested in exploring both the clinical side as well as research, then a PhD in clinical psychology is better suited than a PsyD. A second con is that these programs are expensive, and unlike master's programs where there's loads of scholarships and grants both from within the university but also externally, there's relatively less external funding opportunities for PsyD programs. A third con is that if you're interested in a job in academia after doing the degree, then PsyDs are valued less than PhDs. Final point on the cons is when you're picking a PsyD, you want to be really mindful of where it is that you are applying, because there's a lot of variation in the value and quality of the program. So you want to make sure that you go to universities that have the right accreditations and the right kind of people to train you, so you can actually graduate and have the necessary requirements done for getting your license. So a PsyD is an ideal degree for those who are certain that they want a career in clinical practice and value a degree that provides them with more practical skills and training over doing research. So if you want to focus on psychological principles and you want to use them to help individuals directly, provide care to patients, design therapies, then the PsyD could be the right path for you. All right, so there you have it. 3 different programs, postgraduate programs that you can do after an undergraduate degree in psychology. Now, each of these programs has their own unique features, their advantages, but their challenges. A master's program, for instance, is the quickest way to get more training and deeper knowledge, but it has certain limitations in career advancement. PhDs open all kinds of doors for jobs in academia, for other advanced research roles, but demand a lot in terms of the time and energy that you have to invest in them. Professional degrees like PsyD give you a lot of clinical training, clinical practice, but they are time consuming, can be expensive, and may have limited recognition. So when you are trying to think about these programs and trying to compare which one is right for you, here's some things to think about. Think about your career aspirations, what kind of job you want to have. Think about the time you are willing to invest in getting the advanced training that you need. Think about your financial limitations and try to figure out your passion for research versus clinical practice. Reflecting on these aspects will help guide you to a program that would match your professional aspirations as well as your personal interests. That's it for today. Hopefully this was helpful and shed some light on the different postgraduate degrees you can pursue after an undergrad in psychology. If you found this helpful, please like the video, share it with others, and subscribe for more content like this. If you are curious about other aspects of the academic process, please check out my website. I have linked it below. Leave any comments or any thoughts you have or any topics you would want me to cover. And stay tuned for more content like this. Bye!